Hello, I'm Liz, one of Derry's reference librarians, and welcome to another episode of Misinformation Busters. Once a week, we tackle a rumor or a false or misunderstood story, and we try to separate fact from fiction. This week, we're going back to Dr. Seuss, this time talking about Read Across America. So, what's the story? By now, we have all heard about the Seuss Enterprises' choice to discontinue 6 books and the public reaction to that. And for more information, refer to my previous video. But there were a few other events that happened on or around that day that really played into the idea that Dr. Seuss was being canceled, which he's not. You can still read Cat in the Hat, etc., etc. The first was a school district in Virginia supposedly banning Dr. Seuss. The second is that President Biden did not mention Dr. Seuss in his statement about Read Across America Day. And looking at these events, you can see how one could get the idea that Dr. Seuss is suddenly no longer okay. So, what are the facts? Full disclosure, this was initially going to be something that I addressed in my original Seuss video. However, the more I looked into it, the more I realized it was kind of its own thing. Also, it took a while to find stuff on and build the timeline. A lot of browsing EBSCO and a lot of looking through old NEA press releases. Let's start with Virginia. This year, the Loudoun County Public Schools were trying to separate Read Across America from Dr. Seuss, and this led to rumors that Dr. Seuss was being banned. The school system actually had to release a statement to quell rumors saying that Seuss books were still available for kids to read, but that they are no longer the exclusive focus of Read Across America Day. So now, put a pin in that, it'll come back. The second is Joe Biden, quote, erasing Dr. Seuss from his Read Across America address. So while it is true that he did not mention Dr. Seuss, it is not as if he broke a 20-plus year tradition. When Read Across America started in 1998, President Clinton made a brief mention of it, not really mentioning Dr. Seuss either. I actually couldn't find any statements from George W. Bush. Barack Obama did make statements about Read Across America Day and would mention Seuss every year, and Trump would do the same. So while Biden did break from the last 2 presidents, not mentioning Seuss isn't really the faux pas it was perceived as. Before we go further, let's go back to the start of Read Across America Day. It's now almost synonymous with Dr. Seuss's birthday, March 2nd, at this point. And the general narrative is that it was started as a way to celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday, which, kinda? Read Across America Day was founded as a way to get kids to read, and March 2nd is the kickoff for a year-long program. And Seuss, it doesn't seem that he was super part of the initial idea. This is from the Christian Science Monitor from 1998, the year of the first Read Across America. Quote, the idea was hatched when a New Jersey teacher, Sharon Suskin, asked her union to help get kids excited about reading. After some brainstorming and a nod from Seuss's widow, Audrey Gesell, the National Education Association took off with the idea of celebrating the writer's birthday in a party called Read Across America. When word got out, the idea ran away like a Seuss character. Quote, there's more stuff than I can keep up with, says Dave McGloin, the NEA coordinator for the event. I thought it would be really, really good, but I didn't think that it would be this really, really good. Since then, the National Education Association has been running Read Across America for past years, and it's been tied to Dr. Seuss and Cat in the Hat. Until 2019, when the NEA announced that they were rebranding and no longer associated with Seuss Enterprises. On September 16, 2019, an NEA article by Cindy Long detailed Read Across America's move towards highlighting diverse books and away from Seuss. Though, as Long writes, children still love Dr. Seuss, and his birthday on March 2nd, also Read Across America Day, is an ideal time for a school-wide reading event where you can serve green eggs and ham. But also noted that there were other ideas and activities to keep kids interested year-round. Also, this wasn't a new or unexpected thing. In 2019, the theme was celebrating diverse readers. 2017, LeVar Burton and Marley Diaz of 1000 Black Girl Books kicked off Read Across America Day. Even back in 2005, there was the Where's the Hat theme, which celebrated the diversity of kids across the U.S. In fact, 2017 was when Read Across America really started to distance themselves from Seuss. A school library journal article published on September 11, 2017, details the NEA's decision and why they were moving away. It was both concern for some of the more questionable artwork of Dr. Seuss and just the desire to broaden the scope of books and authors to cover. I actually did a Google search for reactions around that time and found that most of the reactions were just from librarians and teachers. No real outrage, no cries of erasing Dr. Seuss. Not saying the current outrage is manufactured, but I am seeing a clear example of this not being a big deal when it was announced. The other big piece of the Read Across America puzzle is the study entitled The Cat is Out of the Bag, Orientalism, Anti-Blackness, and White Supremacy in Dr. Seuss's Children's Books. This was conducted by Katie Ishizuka and Ramon Steven, who run the Conscious Kid Library. Published in 2019, the study went into the racist artwork and ideas that are present in Dr. Seuss's work. So I did read the study, and while I don't disagree with the general conclusion that Seuss's work does contain outdated and harmful stereotypes, and when it focuses on humans, it focuses on boys, which can be a little alienating, I felt like it read more like a thesis paper than a scientific study. And I found a few errors. Read Across America was started in 1998, not 96, and I actually felt that they misrepresented some passages from the books they cited. That said, Ishizuka's family was directly affected by internment in the 1940s, and for her, Seuss's cartoons from that time are personal. And it is important to remember that it is always easier to say, it's not that bad when you're not the target. Still, I'm not sure I would really recommend the study. I would probably recommend Philip Nell's book, Was the Cat in the Hat Black, if you wanted an overall analysis of Seuss's work and the more problematic aspects. What I did find interesting was at the end of the study when the authors mentioned that they sent their findings to the NEA in 2017, and the way that it's phrased is as if the study was the reason NEA dropped Dr. Seuss. However, in the School Library Journal article from 2017, Steve Grant, the NEA spokesman, states that while the study did have an effect, the NEA was actually looking at moving away from Seuss and towards promoting diverse books for a while before that. And based on what I've seen, this actually seems true. That LeVar Burton and Marley Diaz kickoff, that was in early 2017, and those events have to be planned at least months in advance. Also, groups like We Need Diverse Books have been around since 2014. Not to mention, in the library world, there has been a discussion and a push for diverse books for at least over a decade. From a librarian standpoint, the controversy about Seuss aside, I can see how it can get kind of boring using one author year after year. One of the things I noticed going through EBSCO and seeing year after year of Read Across America press releases was how similar it seemed after a while. And while I get it, for a lot of people, Seuss is the only children's author they know, and he's a name everyone knows, after a while, making him the exclusive focus can maybe get a little stale, and broadening the scope can be good. Regardless, based on the School Library Journal article and the NEA, it's ultimately up to the teachers whether or not they include Seuss. As Grant put it, quote, the goal is to encourage the educator because we can't force him or her to do anything. In that case, the school district of Virginia, and maybe even Biden, or whoever briefs Biden, were just going along with Read Across America in its current mission. So, based on everything, I would say that this is a case of technically true, but the timeline presents a more complex picture than some people were painting on social media. People were just paying attention to Seuss at the time, so things that might not have gotten a lot of attention otherwise are just now a big deal. And this is a good reminder to read beyond the headline and sometimes even read beyond one article before reacting. I mean, I get it. Biden doesn't mention Dr. Seuss, but that's because Read Across America really isn't associated with Seuss anymore, and it's kind of a complicated thing. That doesn't make a good headline, and it certainly doesn't generate, outrage or clicks on social media. It's kind of like that potato head thing a few weeks ago. Oh no, I'm going to have to talk about potato head, aren't I? Thank you for watching, and as always, check for our sources in the comments, and feel free to research using our EBSCO databases, which are available through the library's website. Or when in doubt, ask a librarian. And I'll see you next week.